I knew about Neeraj Nagar, but I never actually drew that connection till 3 days ago in Cannes. And I was like, this is insane. Like, he is my mom's grand uncle. The first thing that he said to me, all these beautiful things apart, the first thing he said to me was, you got to lose the muscles. Even if I were removed from this film, I would still be in that theatre clapping as hard.
Like we all were yesterday.
Oh, you were there?
Of course I was there. You think I would miss the one big Indian premiere at the Cannes Film Festival?
Hey, this is Ishaan and I'm here at Cannes with Sucharita.
Hi Ishaan, it's nice to meet you.
Hi Sucharita, likewise.
Congratulations on the world premiere of Homebound, man. What a vibe.
Yeah, it's very special. It's a dream in every way possible, and I'm a film festival kid, so this is like a full circle moment for me. I don't have a lot of those. I've, just 7 years into my career, pretty young in my career, but this really feels like a full circle in every way possible.
How do you mean you were a film festival kid?
So I mean, my filmic education was, sometimes watching 6 films a day at any film festival that I had access to. So usually for us Mumbaikars, it's the Mumbai Film Festival or Jagran, where they would sometimes play films from DVDs, but we would still get to see the older classics, our golden age films, and IFFI as well is something that was close enough and within access. So for 3 years, I would frequent film festivals and watch sometimes as many as 6 films a day.
How wonderful.
30, 35 in a week, and then break them down and sit down with these, film clubs and try to understand them better. And that was my film education. And Cannes was always, the mecca of cinema. And my dream was to go there with a film. So
and here
my first time in Cannes. Yeah.
But your mother, Mrs. Azim, has said in interviews before that she belongs from the family of K.A. Abbas. Yeah. Now, speaking of film festivals, K.A. Abbas was the king of film festivals, bringing Indian films to international film festivals. Most notably, Neeraj Nagar, the very first Cannes Film Festival, the Palme d'Or was called something else then, was won by an Indian film, and that was Neeraj Nagar. And that's the family you come from. Do you know what that family tree is? How you connect to K.A. Abbas? Because I tried, I couldn't figure it out.
So he's my mom's great-grand uncle, but she never had her grandfather. So I think she was very young when he passed away, like I was when my grandfather passed away. So essentially he was like her grandfather, and she grew up in his house in Bombay. They would call him Mambachu Chacha. So he was a Mamu Chachu mix because he was just close to both sides of the family. And he's the great Khwaja Ahmad Abbas. He was the man responsible for launching Mr. Bachchan into the films with Saath Hindustani. And in fact, I have to say, I knew about Neeraj Nagar, but I never actually drew that connection till 3 days ago in Cannes. And I was like, this is insane. Like, he is my mom's grand uncle, and he was the first man to write a film that won the very first. By the way, it was the first year of Cannes in
1948?
46.
Right around
46, 1 year before our independence.
Wow.
So it's
right as the Second World War was letting up and Cannes was actually going on around that time. That's insane. How did you make that connection 3 days ago?
I was watching an interview where somebody asked, because I'm just coming off of Royals and I watched.
What a whiplash!
I know. Imagine.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I mean, I cannot, but so I imagine it is.
I went from Royals straight into this. I kind of deep dove into prep for this, and I was hoping that they would come around at the same time because they couldn't be more different from each other.
Range dekh rahe ho.
So somebody asked this question and it just I researched a little more on it, and I actually didn't know that the film was the first festival, the first year of the festival. Yeah. I had no idea. So this was news to me.
Clearly, Ishaan Khatter doesn't watch my videos because I've spoken about this quite at length in my videos as well. Because it's such a moment of Indian cinema glory and history that doesn't get spoken about enough. And I really was like, I have to ask you what your family tree connection with K.A. Abbas
is. And also that film was about similar social themes.
Class disparity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now talk to me about shedding your skin as an actor and getting into the skin of Shoaib, who is this beautiful character that Neeraj has taken from a real life person and then given him a backstory, given him possibly a future. We don't know, we'll find out when we watch the film. But shedding your skin and getting into Shoaib's skin.
The first thing that Neeraj asked of us explicitly was to walk towards these characters, because we couldn't possibly take for granted that we would find them, you know, without any significant work. And even more than that, just to, I think the whole idea was not to look at these characters in a patronizing way at all. The entire idea was to humanize people that are often seen as statistics. And the effort was to put a magnifying glass on these characters and hopefully gently take you by the hand as an audience and help you walk a few miles in their shoes.
Yeah.
And thus, you know, propagate a gaze of empathy.
Yeah.
And or just influence a gaze of empathy. And so I think the first thing that he said to me, all these beautiful things apart, the first thing he said to me was, "You got to lose the muscles." He was like, I was like, yeah, I can do that. It's easier for me to like look normal and lose. And he was like, no, Ishaan, please. I don't want to see a single sinew on your body.
Get rid of it all.
Get rid of it all.
Holy.
And I was just coming off of Royals.
Where
So
it's nothing but muscle.
it was a job requirement.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
क्या रे था muscle वहाँ
you
पे?
know, so that was obviously the physical part of it. But I think he's a very unique director. He has
Yeah.
a singular vision.
Yeah.
He doesn't leave a stone unturned in approaching it with complete devotion.
Yeah.
He's one of the rare directors that is involved in every step of your process as an actor, you know, which I really appreciate. It
Yeah.
reminded me of working with Majid Majidi 7 years ago,
Yeah.
8 years ago,
Yeah.
and he was the man that set my foundation as an actor. So and I saw a lot of those masterful traits in Neeraj. I think he's just such a special filmmaker.
Yeah.
He never puts the politics of his films before the narrative and the story. He makes these deeply humanistic films, but they have such a strong social consciousness.
Yes.
I think his approach is to create a social awareness rather than influence politically. And I think it's I just think it's very rare. It's a very rare gaze, and I think he's able to do that because he goes really deep. His writing is very nuanced, and like I said, he doesn't take for granted that because it's an educated opinion,
Yeah.
it is the right opinion. You know, he sits down with people from all walks of life,
Yeah.
and has the same curiosity to understand their inner strife, and I think it shows in his films.
I was just talking to him, and he said there are a lot of things that he put in Chandan's character he took from his own life, about being the only brother in the family, about having a Muslim best friend and stealing biryani at their house, that sort of stuff.
That's a true story.
Yeah, so he told me that that's all sort of pulled from his own life, and of course his experiences with caste, with class, and things like that as well. When you're taking a filmmaker's journey that is so personal to him, that he's like poured his blood into this film, and you're representing it on an international stage, does that add a layer of responsibility that weighs you down? Or do you feel with somebody like Neeraj, he's got it all covered and you just need to follow what he says?
No, I think, you know, something Neeraj says very beautifully is that you should personalize your art, but not at the cost of story and character.
Yeah.
You know, never at the cost of hijacking the real purpose. And I think he has that down in a really beautiful way, and that's what I strive to do with my work as well. Is of course you put in the work to find character, define it, and embody it. But what are those aspects of yourself that you couldn't really personalize and fuel this character with and color this character with? As an actor is something I strive to do as well. So I see that in him, and I think he's got his craft down to a T.
Yeah.
So I think the responsibility was perhaps like an added thing, that it was personal to Neeraj, but I think this entire story is personal to Neeraj, and it felt personal to all of us. You
And
know.
also, you're the only Indian film that is an official competition selection in a certain regard competition here.
Cannes is huge, but even before that, even before any of this, I mean, I'm just so proud of this film because I think it's a very rare film. You know, like these are the kind of
It
films you don't
truly
get
is,
to
man.
see. You don't get to see.
Yeah.
You know, and we've had such masterful filmmakers. I would go as far as to say of the likes of a Guru Dutt and a Satyajit Ray, who would make these neorealistic social films, you know, with a beating heart. And there are very few filmmakers that have that brilliance and that have that intent in today's day and age. And I think, therefore, Neeraj is a very special filmmaker. And he made a beautiful film in Masan 9 years ago, which, before I started my journey as a leading man, I made an affirmation and a manifestation. I hope I get to work with him one day. And I think 9 years down the line, he's 2 for 2 at Cannes.
Yes.
And anytime he strikes hard. But you can see his evolution as a filmmaker as well, which is, to me, I think I'm just so proud of him.
Yeah.
You know, my first thought when I heard that we made it to Cannes was, damn, I'm so proud of Neeraj. Like, he deserves this and more.
And also the realization that Martin Scorsese is watching you and giving notes.
That's insane. I mean, this is a full circle moment for me in so many ways. The fact that Karan has fueled this film.
Yeah.
I think he has truly, he's been a champion for this film.
Truly.
He allows directors, and you see that often because he's an artist himself, their unique creative voice. But with Neeraj, he was just like, you make your film and I am there to
be the wind beneath your wings.
Be the wind beneath your wings in any way possible. And then with someone like Mr. Scorsese coming on board, who's like the northern star in cinema.
In the world.
It's
like just as an angel amongst humans.
It's a dream. It's a dream, and it couldn't have happened to a better, I think, film and better person. And I say that as somebody, even if I were removed from this film, I would still be in that theatre clapping as hard.
Like we all were yesterday.
I think it was, yeah. Oh, you were there?
Of course I was there. You think I would miss the one big Indian premiere at the Cannes Film Festival? Absolutely not. I was there. It was wonderful. Everybody was crying. Bonnie Kapoor was very emotional. It was quite a moment. But I'm being told to wrap it up now because y'all have a wonderfully busy day ahead of you. So congratulations on everything. It is really refreshing to speak with you face to face, Ishaan, because we've never done this before. And really get to understand what your processes are, because, you know, I've seen you do like various things. I've seen you do slapstick comedy. I've seen you do now Royals. I've seen you do Majid Majidi, and now this. It's really incredible to talk to a young actor who thinks deeply about the form and what cinema means to a larger audience. So thank you for your time.
Nice thing to say. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Jafar Panahi is walking around behind us.
No
so
way.
Yeah, if you see somebody in a green shirt in this camera.
Taxi!
So yeah, exactly. Jafar Panahi is there somewhere. Thanks, Ishaan.